Yeah, no, you're right.
Are
we
live?
Yeah. We are live now,
Hi.
talking about the degradation of early series antagonists into literal clowns.
It's a generous way to say we were talking about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. I mean, I was going to segue to talk about the what Akira Toriyama has done to like group people like Tien and Yamcha over the years, but that is neither here nor there because we are live from the apocalypse. Hello everyone. How is everyone out there in Streamland this evening? If you are just joining us for the first time, we play tabletop role-playing games to benefit nonprofits, aid organizations, and other charitable causes. We do ask that if you like what you see here, and we hope that you do, frankly, don't know why you're sticking around if not, that rather than subscribing or giving us bits or any of the usual Amazon corporate script, that you actually take that money that you would be giving to us through Daddy Bezos and you just give it directly to the organizations that we are fundraising for. At the moment, we are raising money for the International Rescue Committee, which helps people affected by humanitarian crises. Founded in the year 1933 at the call of Albert Einstein, the IRC is currently at work in over 40 crisis-affected countries, as well as communities across Europe and the Americas, like here in this United States of America, because that is the time that we are living in. Yeah. So if at any point you would like to donate, you can type !donate in the chat. Our bot will post the link, and you can make the McElroy brothers yell at us and interrupt whatever serious scene we were having at the time. We also have a variety of channel points you can use to unlock our emotes without subscribing, as well as to interact with and influence the stream in other ways. I think that covers all the basic housekeeping. So without further ado, let's get into our introductions. Starting left to right across the bottom of the screen here. Will, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Hi, my name is Will. I'm not playing him. Forgot to hide him. That's Julian. I'm not him tonight. I'm Ephraim East. I'm a street smart young whip from the streets of the Kanto region, and I'm here to guide the scientists and army folks through where I come from. And I'm very capable, and I'm like 13 years old, I think. I don't remember. And I'm Will. I'm one of the GMs and the organizers, and like I do a lot of things here, a lot from the apocalypse. So yeah, I don't know. If you want to see more of those things, class reunion, winter break. I think the final session is going to be a week from today, on Tuesday. Tomorrow night, come back for Undestined, the Digimon game that I have run one session of, and tomorrow will be the last session for the immediate future. It is a playtest of a system that I created called Nightlights, and it's a lot of fun. The first session was a lot of fun. I'm sure tomorrow will be no different. And check it out. I also just realized I recently shaved into a mustache. I realized that my mug also has a mustache on it. So that's very fitting. That's what I got going on in my life. That's it. That's all I got to say. I think Heather's next.
Oh no. Okay. Hi. All right. So hi, I'm Heather. You might also know me as Brightwit. I run our channel's TikTok, which is currently on hiatus, and I am both playing today. I'm playing Professor Edgar Esper, who is a little bit of a, I would say, spacey, science first, maybe a little naive of a scientist who is just appears to try to just be doing the right thing, but may have some connections. I don't know to what is going on here with the Mewtwo thing. Oops. So
Oops.
oops.
Oops, we made a Mewtwo.
Oops, we made a thing, maybe. I don't know. So Yeah, and then I also play Estelle East in our main timeline, which we will be jumping back to. I think we have 2 sessions more. Is that correct?
Well, so it depends a little bit on how far we get this session. This session could be the last one of the flashback, or it might go one more session.
Sweet. So this session and potentially another, and then we will be back, and I will be Estelle East, who is the daughter of Professor Esper, and mysteriously also the wife of this young scrapper, Mr. East.
My wife.
Yeah, future wife. Getting to play my dad. It's gonna be weird. So, and then I am also playing in our Dungeons and Doggos D&D, which is called Fetch Quest. It is our Wednesday night event for next Wednesday, not tomorrow, but next week. And in that one, I believe I am playing Maple, because I wanted to have another game in which we have a character named Maple, or the theme of Maple shows up.
We were going pretty strong with that for a while.
I almost named her Hazel, and then I was like, nope, this will be the third, and I have to do it. So
that would be the second Hazel also.
Oh, would it? Oh yeah, it would.
In Winter Break, Julia's character is named Hazel.
It's true. All right, that's me.
Cool.
Yeah.
I guess you could say that's a real Maple story.
Oh no! Why do?
Liz.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Liz. I design tabletop games sometimes. You can find those at iron-echo-games.itch.io, including my own Pokemon game, which is not the system we're using here, but a system we have played before in another Maple-themed thing, the Maple League. Other than that, I am in this as Lieutenant Peggy DeWick, which is the grandmother of Billy Baker, the character I normally play, and who is very different, because Lieutenant Peggy DeWick is very stern and in the military, and Billy's just a good old farm boy. Other than that, I'm also in Undestined tomorrow, because I just can't say no to any sort of adorable monsters that also fight-related RPG thing ever. And that's basically me.
Boy, that Pokemon Tales game we played was a real Maple story.
Jesus Christ.
Oh no. What have I started?
Brendan.
Yes, hello. Somehow I'm literally never ready for this. I am Brendan. I am the Game Master. I am the architect of befuddlement and misery. I run this game, obviously. I take it to places that surprise even me sometimes. And when I am not doing this, I also am a player in our Every Other Sunday Masks campaign. I play Alex Sandowski, aka Victory. That is also recorded as a podcast, which you can catch on all your major podcatchers of choice. I also ran Cryptid Community College Season 1, which was a non-streamed game from early in LFTA's history that is currently seeing the light of day, keeping the good fight for Halloween going in this ever-encroaching holiday season. So check that out. And she confirmed that there will be a Season 2 on the way. Has not entered production yet, but it is confirmed that it will be happening. So be on the lookout for that. And I think that is all of me.
Word on the street is that Season 2 is going to be a real Maple story.
That doesn't even work.
I swear to God.
That applies it worked the first 2 times.
Although, okay, you know what? Hang on. I can in fact connect it. Okay, so the antagonist of Season 1 of Cryptid Community College was loosely based on some research that my sister was doing for her master's thesis, which was about fungal blights of, wait for it, maple trees.
And I knew all of that.
Bam, 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 bam,
7 degrees of
Ladies
maple
and
clearly.
gentlemen, we got him.
Thank you. No, I didn't even. Okay, one.
Wow,
I totally forgot that I was also in Kristen.
we still inexplicably have people who are watching right now.
Yeah, somehow the maple puns wasn't the end for them. I don't know if it's just they want to see how far into the ground we drive this.
A significant portion of our viewership is Canadian, so they love the maple content.
Just gotta play. You're just playing to your audience, then I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. But I didn't know we were on for season 2. Like, I'm in Curtin Community College. That's amazing. I love it.
I'm trying to remember if Andy knew that and just didn't tell you, or if Andy didn't know about it.
100% likely that
I think it came up in a conversation that Andy was in.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, I don't think I ever actually made like an official announcement. I think it just came up in conversation naturally with the players, and I just never got around to telling you. So surprise, Heather.
Yes, I get to come back and stand.
We stand here.
Lurking. Thanks for being here, Lurky. Aw, no fame pod is lurking.
Goodness. So, well, on that note, we left off with you guys having escaped from a school of Sharpedo on your way to Cinnabar Island. You had to divert course and beach yourselves in a remote village to the north of the island. And you were just getting your bearings. The light is fading. And there is a sign hanging loosely from a chain, blowing back and forth in the breeze. And in faded script, you can make out the words Pallet Town. Most of the village seems like it is completely abandoned. The houses were once painted in a variety of different colors, but age and wear has taken it off to the point where it is just stripped splotches of color flung against the wood.
He is reorganizing his entire house. That's why I asked him to close the door.
So, you guys are rapidly losing light, and you don't know if the Sharpedos are still out there. So, you're a little off script at this point. What's your plan?
I think as the moment we touch land, or like get off the boat here, Peggy's going to tell X-Ray to do recon, and Tango to do guard duty, which essentially means that Luxray is going to go start prowling around the rubble, houses, whatever is here, to make sure there's nothing waiting to surprise us or ambush us, while Tango hovers close to protect us in case something does.
Does everyone have their special hats? And how's my very obviously collapsible Faraday cage that I made? Because there's no other way it's fitting in the boat.
You managed to get it with you. It's a little waterlogged, but it is there.
It's okay. I mean, as long as the electromagnetic, as long as the battery didn't get, wet, we're probably fine.
Don't know if we should go out into the water in the dark. We're probably going to need to camp here for the night.
Well, we've been beached, correct?
Yes.
The boat? Okay, so our goal is to go towards the location. Weren't we on a a time schedule though? Isn't there a clock running down?
This
I did walk out
point,
halfway through the brief, so I am dependent mostly on the logistics. I figured you've probably got that.
There is a bit of a time crunch. There is a rendezvous point that you need to make on the island if you're going to get off of it again. We're currently at. You could definitely camp the night here. It would be taking some precious hours off of the time you would then have available once you got to the island to accomplish your task, and be able to make it to the rendezvous point. On the flip side, to get to the island at this point, you would have to press on through the dark in the water, with the Sharpedos presumably still out there somewhere.
also,
So
aren't
we'd
the
have
people we're supposed to be meeting for our rendezvous the ones who kind of implied sacrificed themselves so that we could get away?
They did draw off the lion's share of the Sharpedos. So there is that. Don't know their status at the moment.
It's
They
fine.
they were blasting off again, but I mean, you know how they are. They always come back.
For those who didn't catch last episode, it turns out Team Rocket started as a ragtag group of.
Mercenaries?
I
Yeah,
mean, like, it sort of implied that
mercenaries.
they were like, we're gonna handle war, and then the army just kind of adopted them in, which sounds very Team Rocket. I'm not gonna lie. So they
Rocket
sacrificed
Battalion.
themselves. Yes, the Rocket Battalion. They sacrificed themselves, maybe ish for us.
Hard to say. They'll be back.
Oh, absolutely. Well then, I think the professor turns to Ghastly and just sort of gives him a nod, and like Ghastly like goes out to like do a little recon. Would you like me to roll for what Ghastly finds?
No, I think you're good. What are you guys gonna do as far as setting up camp? Assuming that is what you're doing.
I think that's probably what Ephraim will be working on, just because everybody else is kind of doing something else. So he'll try to start setting up like any shelter. If we have like a tent with us or anything like that. Do I recognize where we are?
So you are. I was give me a research roll.
I can do that. Research. I can do that. Technically. That's 2.
Yeah.
This is somewhere like you're from Kanto, but you're from like an actual place. Like this is the sticks.
Yep. Now I heard about Pallet Town. There's nothing here. Nothing ever happens here. Nobody important ever comes from here. It's a garbage place.
There's an awful lot of destruction for an unimportant little village. Usually, don't they? Well, I mean, who can know what Mewtwo's doing, really? But
I mean, to be fair, Ephraim, like the professor says this is not unusual to you. Like, Kanto has been nearly leveled at this point.
Where you been, Professor?
Well, not in Kanto, unfortunately. I apologize. It's, they sort of stick us in labs and, occasionally let us out into the sunlight. But, I mean, it seems odd that it would just destroy all human presence. I mean, after all, there are some Pokemon who live almost in sync with humans, almost a necessary aspect of their environment.
Yeah, well, you better get used to seeing this, because the whole region looks like this pretty much.
as you are poking around the town and you are setting up camp, you're
Oh,
setting
no.
up your tent, and you are in
What
the
happened
process
to
of
this?
trying to gather up enough brush and fuel and trash uh, to be able to kindle a fire. You start to sort of gather up what you can from the immediate town square, but you're having to fan out further and further just to get enough usable materials. It seems like this area has actually been picked over pretty thoroughly, um, and you see a large branch that has fallen out in a field a little ways away. Um, and you're getting ready to go out and sort of just strip it for bark and twigs. But as you get to the edge of the tall grass, you hear a voice actually call out to you. Wait, no, don't go in there.
I, s- I'm not. I don't. We didn't establish whether I'm helping you, so I assume
Mm.
that they're talking to you.
I'll look around and see if I can see who it is.
From one of the houses behind you, you see poking out from one of the doors, a young kid. I'd say probably close to your age, maybe a little younger.
Call out to him and say, "Hey, kid, what are you doing here? There's no place for children."
You're here.
Ooh.
I'm very important. I'm here on a mission.
A
What
mission.
are you? Yeah, for the military. What are you doing here?
The OPSEC is just out the window
Yeah.
as soon as you open your mouth.
I'm 13. I'm being 13 here.
I mean, look, yeah.
I am an important
if
person.
the army was that concerned about OPSEC, maybe they shouldn't have recruited a 13-year-old as a guide. But again, we've established that we're like 12 months out from the total destruction of the human race. They're taking what they could get.
Also, Pokemon Universe, relative capability of 13-year-olds is radically overestimated.
I mean, they kick you out the door when you're 11, right?
Yeah, you're old enough to go fight dragons. You can go join the military.
Right?
It's
It's fine. You
relative.
get 11 years old. Just get
That's
out
true.
there. Go fight the mafia. It's
At
fine.
11, you get kicked out of your house. Then you're 11 for 25 years, and then you finally get to age.
Yeah.
They let you have like I mean, like think about like what a Charizard could do.
Mhm.
They let you have a weapon like that while you're going through puberty.
Yeah. No, there's no regulation. It's honestly, Pokemon is a libertarian paradise.
Yeah. Also, don't forget, if you're terrible at training them and therefore don't get any gym badges, you can't control them. So the worse you are at like actually training them and like having any sort of sense of control, the more you just have a loose cannon that you're still allowed to have.
Point
And that
is,
you can bring into cities.
point is, the Pokemon world is an anarchy dominated by child soldiers.
I mean, yes.
Speaking
While
of child
also having
soldiers.
universal health care.
Essentially, what we are canonically establishing here. But the kid in the doorway says, "Wait, you're with the army? I don't believe you. Why is the army here?"
I don't know if you've seen the place recently, but it's seen better days. Seems
Yeah,
like somebody better do something about this.
And you're gonna do something about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna fix it.
Writing checks.
While you're fixing it, yeah, don't go into the tall grass.
Because that's where Pokemon live?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got Pokemon.
Okay. Just, I mean, if you think you're all right,
Look, who are you? You
um,
live here?
yeah, I live here,
What's your name?
Sam.
You live here by
Probably the way
yourself?
that gets.
Yeah, just me.
You always live here by yourself?
Excuse me. No, obviously not always. I was here with, my family, and other kids that were here. Most of them left, with just me and my parents. Um, and then they went out to get food out in the grass there. And yeah, they didn't come back.
All right, Sam. Why don't you come with me? I'll introduce you to the professor and the lieutenant, and maybe we can figure out what happened to your family, and get you somewhere safe.
No, all right. He steps out kind of warily. He's wearing sort of a ratty, hole-filled black T-shirt and jeans, with lugging a heavy, rattling backpack behind him, and it looks like there is also a Bulbasaur that is sort of waddling out behind him.
All right. I will lead him back to our base camp, I guess. And while doing so, I'll just try to like make small talk to try to like put him at ease and convince him, he doesn't. I don't know. He doesn't need to be scared of us, and he can trust us. Do you want me to roll heart?
Yeah, go for it.
Yes, the adoptions begin.
What is this? Veil breakers?
Yes.
4. So just barely.
Yeah, he still doesn't seem totally at his like he sits down and he talks, and he seems willing to talk to you. He doesn't really close up about anything. But he's definitely still like he's sitting down on a crate of supplies that you have, but he doesn't relax. He's still very much always on edge, always seemingly ready to like spring into action, ready to move. Bulbasaur seems very laid back by contrast. It's just sort of asleep and gently sporating at his feet.
Like every time it snores,
Yep.
spores come out of its bulb.
Yep.
It's very cute.
Yep. But he does seem to be at least a little bit more put at ease by your relative proximity in age. You get the feeling it's been a long time since he has seen anyone his age.
I guess if he still seems jumpy and the professor and the lieutenant aren't like jumping in to talk to him, then I'll just sort of keep asking him questions.
I mean, I'll definitely like come over with food and like assist and introduce myself, but because I do have young children at this point, so I probably have kids his age. But I think, if you're building a rapport, I'll probably, and he doesn't seem to trust adults too much, which is, a given. Like, I think, kids see a lot of horrible things during a war. And then also, he probably feels a little abandoned or let down from the parents. So, yeah, I'll bring food and just sort of like be present and maybe talk to the Bulbasaur and give it a couple of treats. And
you have a bottle of ketchup with you that he takes and basically like he slathers the food that you gave him in the ketchup and then basically drinks the rest of the bottle.
Sam or the Bulbasaur?
Sam.
Okay.
I haven't had ketchup in so long. It's mostly, I've got a little garden, but it's mostly potatoes, like potatoes and dandelions. And Bulbasaur, helps out with that, makes them grow good. But yeah, mostly potatoes and dandelions. A lot of potatoes and dandelions.
Huh. Potatoes and no ketchup. This place really is hell.
When I bring over food, I'm gonna slip to you like a silver wrapped little square. But when you open it, it's like those little like ration chocolate things. So
Mhm.
to share. And I just like scurry off.
Yeah, I will. Ephraim will take it from you, give you like a knowing nod, and then slip the whole thing into his pocket for later. So
I like that you think the professor isn't just gonna like appear with chocolate for all the time.
listen,
You
that
could
sounds like it sounds like I win either way.
Yeah, that's true.
So Sam, what exactly happened here? Why is this place? How long ago did this happen?
I don't really remember. I'm good. I started trying to keep track for my parents were keeping track, like tally marks. I kind of tried to keep it going after they disappeared. I kind of lost track after a while. But it was, I mean, Mewtwo happened. Like we all felt it here. We all had the nightmares. Because, it's psychic, like, right? Mewtwo? It's what the radio was saying. Psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you believe in that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, it's really more of a psychic is the easiest word we can utilize to understand the type of waves that are being presented, but it is a particular like wavelength that is and a power really. I mean, we've actually shown that it can have an effect on Pokemon, that you could create Pokemon, and I just you guys like can feel free to like move around the fire.
Peggy just like puts a hand on your arm, like of like a firm of like
yes,
psychic.
Psychic.
Psychic is what they decided to call it. My suggestion was Thinky Power Wave.
I wanted to name it the Esper Wave, but that didn't go over well.
But yeah, because we all started having crazy nightmares, and then we saw on the news that whatever it was, like the army or whoever, they tried to use Mewtwo to try and stop the Pokemon, try to control the Pokemon, but then he just wrecked everything, and all the fish started dying, and then the rest of the animals, and then it was just Pokemon. And I don't know, a lot of folks didn't make it. A bunch of folks left. They said they heard about a cave somewhere that they couldn't. I guess it was like protected from Mewtwo somehow. But
yes.
my folks didn't want to go, so we stayed. And then I told you the rest.
The professor, like, if this was a view screen, you'd just see the professor like wiggle down the log into the screen. He's like, tell me, do you know the location of this cave that protected from Mewtwo's power? I'd be very interested in what mineral deposits were located in this cave.
I'm not sure. My parents talked about it more. They didn't believe it existed, but some folks were talking about there were some pirate radios, that went around. A lot of cultist shit. Sorry, pardon, the bad words. Um, but there were some resistance people too who said there was a cave somewhere that, for some reason, it blocked Mewtwo's psychic powers, and they were trying to use that to get away. I think they said it was somewhere near Cerulean, maybe.
Cave system. The professor like is like, Susan, yes. And I just like head off to like where and into the packs and like pull out the giant map we have and start looking at the geography. I'm gonna leave you all alone now.
The professor wandered off partway through the briefing, but
Yeah.
but Peggy, you remember from the briefing that you think this is probably the same cave that the army was talking about trying to trap Mewtwo in.
Hmm.
It's part of this push, part of why you were sent out here to gather more intel on Mewtwo from Cinnabar before they commit to this last attack, basically, to try and force it into the cave.
Is what Sam's been describing notated from like military briefings and stuff like that in terms of like the nightmares, the animals nearby dying, like all of that? Has that been notated in that order? Like, do we have that before, or is this like
Generally speaking, yes, that tracks.
okay.
Nightmares about Mewtwo happen pretty frequently.
Hmm.
Even more so among people with some sort of psychic ability. And then most of the animals and fish dying are mostly chalked up to the nuclear exchange that happened shortly after Mewtwo went rogue.
Especially that the Pokemon would need the animals and the fish to feed on as well, so I wouldn't think Mewtwo would wreck the ecosystem. But
Yeah, the Pokemon
that
seem to
sounds
be
like a thing humans would do.
the Pokemon seem to be getting along just fine in the post-nuclear world, but less so everything else.
Kind of makes you wonder if they'd be better off without us, doesn't it? All right, kid. We're going to be moving on from here pretty soon, and you made it here this long. I think it's probably best if you stay. We got some friends who came with us. Depending on what happens tonight, they might be coming here to stop and make camp. They'd be able to keep you safe.
Where are you guys going?
Afraid that's classified.
I mean, look around, man. Who am I gonna tell?
Look, orders are orders. When you're older, you'll understand.
Well, I mean, the young man might have some better intel than we do about the sort of topography and the various Pokemon groups that we might come across as we make our way. And I like look over at at Peggy, and I'm just like, but I'm not really in a position to make those sort of decisions as to release information and sort of enable the locals in assistance.
That means we're not heading inland.
Yeah, Ephraim's right. We it is classified. We couldn't possibly disclose to this young man where we were headed on a boat
Nope.
in this area that would land us at Pallet Town.
It's too risky.
Yeah. Thank God he couldn't decipher that and be able to figure out where we were headed and provide us information on it without us disclosing any classified information.
You two's got ears everywhere. It's nothing personal, kid.
Yeah. Well, tell you what, I've got no idea where you're going. But if you're going somewhere in a boat, um, I could be a navigator, maybe, depending on where
Oh,
you're
whoa,
trying to
whoa,
get
whoa,
to.
whoa. All right. We already got a guide. We don't need a navigator, too.
All right, okay. I'm just saying. Well, tell you what, then, Mister Guide. Then I'm guessing you already know about sticking close to the shoals, to avoid any of the sea Pokemon that are out there that like to wreck ships, right?
Yo, what do I look like? A guy who doesn't know about shoals? I know about shoals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got know all about your in shoals and your out shoals. Yeah.
Sure do. Yep. Your in shoals are when you're old.
Well,
Technically correct. Like,
well, nope. Then it sounds like yep. It sounds like you've got this all covered. You're the guy. You're gonna take them. Gonna hug the shoals down to the far east. Going down here, going down, taking a bearing off of the sun there. Gonna make sure that the water stays a certain shade of green. And then yeah, yeah, you're gonna do all that, right?
Yep. I'm going to take all the bearings.
Yep. No, good. Yep. Just making sure. Yep. Well, hey, I'm just as long as you do that, then yeah, no, yeah, sure, you're gonna guide real good.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Professor's just sort of like looking back and forth between you, like confused by the weird tension.
Well, then I guess in that case, we could just call in night, get started for those shoals in the morning.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate you guys giving me, some of your rations here. You want some potatoes?
Got any ketchup?
He looks at the empty bottle. That the Bulbasaur is currently it has its vines out and it is scraping out the remaining ketchup and like putting it into its mouth.
Never mind.
Kid, we I'm not sure it's exactly safe where we're going. I'm not sure it's exactly safe either. Keeping one more non-combat trained civilian alive can't be any more risky than two.
Oh,
So,
Lieutenant, I mean, the professor's right there. He can hear you.
Oh no, I'm quite aware. It's all right. I wouldn't, if you met my wife, you'd understand that, I know that I'm not quite a puncher type of person as much as I am I'm a thinker.
I feel like they've both seen how many kids the professor has. I think it's pretty fair to say that he's a lover, not a fighter.
He's a lover, not a fighter. Yes, no, but my wife would rip someone's throat out with her own teeth. So, yes, no, I understand that, fighting people are necessary and are good people.
You know something? You know what I'm thinking? I bet Mewtwo would never expect somebody to try to punch him.
Why is nobody who tried that?
I bet that could work.
Yep. Nope.
Catch him by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
He'd never see it coming.
Mewtwo's secret weakness. Outsmarted the Atom, but a solid punch in the face.
Yeah.
And lay him out.
It's worth a shot, right? What's the worst that could happen?
tell you what, kid, next briefing, I'll let you take the lead with that expert strategy.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
No, I think I think I made sure that hey, you've got a solid guide here. And Effie, was it?
Ephraim?
Effie, got it. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it sounds like you got a solid guide here. He knows where he's going.
I see
But,
what
I
you're
mean,
doing.
I appreciate, hey, appreciate the food, appreciate the company, and Bulbasaur does too. But yeah, no, I mean, I'll probably stick around here. I mean, this is my home, and yeah, I'm not, I'm not going anywhere.
I mean, I do hesitate to say so because you are of a mature age. I mean, you'd be, I don't know, Pokemon Adventures if things were different. But do you have a plan for leaving the island? Should that be necessary?
I mean, like if I were to take you guys there,
Well, I more meant should things become worse, you know, a backup plan. I know you intend to stay here, and I wouldn't tell you otherwise. But you know, it's always good to make sure that you're not back against the wall and in dire straits. So
See,
do you?
this is why he needs a guide. You know, we're not on an island, Professor. This is called Pallet Town.
Oh, this is. I thought we were on the island. Are we not?
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually my out of character mistake.
Yeah, no, we
I
saw the
thought
sign
we'd
that
actually
said-
landed on one part of the island and we're making our way around the island later
No,
on.
we saw the sign that said Pallet Town. We ended up having to go here to get away from the Sharpedos.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, it's still cut off from. I mean, how many miles is it from here to the next actual functional town, and through how much of that tall grass?
I know I have a backup plan.
You got a bike?
What do you think I'm made of
In this
money?
economy?
I've not seen a bike in quite a time, sir.
Listen,
Look, this
all
is
I'm saying
this
is
is
that
not the place for that.
all I'm
Have
saying
you
is that
looked around? This
in a
is not the
post-
place for that.
in a post-apocalyptic society, the cost of bikes skyrocketing kind of makes sense. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I built a Faraday cage out of scraps, but I don't think I could find the right parts for a bike.
Bicycles, how do they work?
No,
How
nobody
do they
knows.
even
Miracles.
the madness?
But no,
The
I do.
tires alone, were just a fortune.
I heard they based them off of a Pokemon. But it
Yeah,
doesn't
that
even
too.
use the wheels.
Yeah.
It just runs on its feet. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's dumb. It's a dumb design. Also, kind of has Digimon energy. I'm just gonna say it.
That's where the dumb design comes from.
Hey, now listen.
No, I mean, to have Digimon energy, there'd have to be like an alternative color scheme version that has, like, I don't know, something like rocket jets attached to it or something like that.
You would need something like that.
You would.
But yeah, I have a backup plan. I need to. I know there's some people I heard that are getting together up on the plateau. Seems like there's some people who know what they're doing. Might be able to keep people safe up there. I don't know. For a long time, I was waiting for my parents to get back. I know they're not coming back now, but I'm not ready to leave yet. But I know where I'm going if I do.
All right. Well, we should get some sleep if we're going to head out at the first light when the tide is ready. As soon as we go to sleep, like as soon as the kid's asleep, I'm gonna slip my own bottle of ketchup into this bag.
Your backup ketchup?
My backup ketchup.
I mean, if we make it
I've
out
been
alive,
on
I'm
army
nailing the
rations
kids.
long enough. I have hot sauce and ketchup.
If we make it out alive, I'm nailing the kids some tomato seeds. Like, it's not.
Exactly.
He doesn't need that much. It's one additional crop.
It's one additional, but sugar. Like there is so much sugar, and I think vinegar in ketchup. So
I think
those
in
are the hard
Pokemon
parts.
rules, he just needs a specific Pokemon for sugar. I don't know
It
what it
is
is,
true.
but I'm pretty sure there's just a sugar
Yeah.
Pokemon.
There's got to be a ketchup Pokemon, right? Like there has
Or
to
like
be.
a honey thing going on. Like maybe if you just find a honey bee type Pokemon,
Totally.
there's got to be something.
Come, is there a burger Pokemon? It feels like there's got to be a burger Pokemon, and it probably like bleeds ketchup or something.
Oh my god,
No, that's a Digimon.
that's a horror show.
I think that's actually technically a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Oh,
It
God.
is absolutely a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I know that one for
Yeah,
sure.
Burger Dragon, right?
Ew.
It's a fiend.
Oh man. Anyway, so
Burger Satan.
Burger Satan. Next game. All right, so your plan is then just sort of to bed down for the night and then head out in the morning.
At when the tide is with us,
Mhm.
I would assume is a deciding factor for time and tide. Wait for no man, or Pokemon, or woman, or anything, anyone. The Earth be doing the rotations.
We get it, Professor. Go to sleep.
Also, fun fact. Did you know that the reason we have tides is because the Earth actually stretches because of gravity? Like we actually go like woo woo, and it's just it makes it appear like we have tides.
Mm.
But if
Science.
it's flat and it stretches, wouldn't it just tear?
Yeah. Asking the real questions.
How do?
The famous flat Earth Pokemon theory.
Mm. These idiots out here talking about the Earth being flat. Don't they know the Earth is hollow?
It's sort of oblong. Sort of a.
But we are off track. So you guys bed down for the night, and I know so much more absurd than the actual stuff we're talking about. You bed down for the night, and at last the tide is with you. In the morning, you bid Sam adieu and continue on your journey. Once you are out into the open water, what are you doing?
We're gonna sail to the shoals.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Following
hug
very
them.
specific, like suspiciously specific advice from a young child.
Mhm.
We gotta find these shoals and we gotta hug them. So be on the lookout.
Okay.
I don't know how many of them there are. We might be here a while.
The coastline.
No, shoals. He said shoals.
I'm going to allow one of these fine maritimers to explain to you what a shoal is.
Do we still have fine maritimers? I thought it was just the three
I
of us
think
now.
yeah,
The
no,
military guys, yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
I think all your mariners are back on the ship.
I do have to say kudos to this 13-year-old's nautical education that he just pulled shoals. I don't know if I would have
grew up in
pulled.
a seaside town, you
I
know.
mean, yeah, he does technically live in a town with a beach.
Yeah, you're not allowed to go to it unless you have a ticket. But, you know.
Mhm.
Or no, that's Vermilion.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind
Anyway.
of funny that Palatown just never had that vibe when every other like water adjacent Pokemon town is like aggressively on the water.
Mhm.
Palatown's just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there's an ocean there. Whatever.
Mhm. Yeah,
Aren't
no,
shoals
it's just-
technically like the sandbars kind of thing? Sort of like the ridges.
Yes,
that you
yeah,
get?
you don't want to go onto the shoals, but you want to stick close to the
close.
shallows
You wanna hug 'em.
around
Into the
yes,
shallows.
around the shoals because then
I was actually just. I'm assuming the professor knows. I was like, I feel like I know what this word means, but it's also I don't live in a seaside town, so I might be wrong.
Specifically, we're doing like one of those middle school hugs with like enough space in the middle.
yeah,
Yes.
you got to leave
For
enough
the
space
Holy
for art.
Ghost.
Yeah.
It's the hugs the chaperones wish you gave.
as we're bumping and grinding with the coastline,
Shit.
do we see by any chance a truck?
Yeah,
Perhaps?
you are way too far away from that. That is also in Vermilion.
Is it? Oh yeah, you're right. I get these two
Yep.
mixed up. Okay.
Yep.
But it does exist. Is what
I
you're
don't.
saying.
I can neither confirm nor
Nor
deny.
Okay.
Ah,
Okay.
I don't think it existing is the problem. It's just if what's underneath it exists.
I spent so much
That's
time.
the true
I
question.
spent so much time.
So much time. Well, they made that it has collision. It's not just a tile; it has collision. Why
Does.
did they do that?
It does, and it seems very logical. You use strength. You go
Right?
there, you
Yeah.
use strength, and that makes sense. And nothing.
Yep. Well, and on that note, go take a quick 5-minute break.
Sure.
Yay!
Can we do 10?
Sure. Yeah.
10.
All right. 10-minute break. Don't go away.
Don't
We'll
go
be
in.
back shortly.
Can't you just let us? Sorry.
I'm a
1
little
second.
sad that I didn't take us back fast enough to catch you saying this is the war on Christmas.
Yeah, I was hoping. I was like, that would have been the perfect.
Will's got pretty good at timing those. But we are back.
At least I said it mockingly enough.
All right, so you are hugging the shoals and making your way south towards Cinnabar Island. You know, obviously, as you well know, as a seasoned guide, and not at all following Sam's instructions. You do see some fins of some Sharpedos, but they are out on the horizon, and while you watch them warily, they do not seem to be coming appreciably closer to you. It is tricky as the choppy surf does want to continually try to beat you against the rocks and sandbars, but with some wrestling of the engine and the rudder, you were able to thread that center course that keeps you from being dashed upon the rocks and also out of the range of the Sharpedos.
Thread the needle.
There is another issue as you get just close enough to Cinnabar that you can see land peeking out of the water ahead of you. There is this almost oily sheen in the air. This almost like a mirage that just sort of wafts across your vision. This momentary borealis, or aurora, I should say. Wrong part of that word that I went to guess. There is a north. You see a north. Definitely took the wrong part of that word. Way to go, Sherlock.
Words are
That's
hard.
your actual name. That's funny.
No.
Dogs popping in and out of existence, and you close your eyes and there are these strange floating visual artifacts. Professor, the radio that you had probing the distortion field that was hugging the eastern coast of Cinnabar is starting to pick something up.
Okay.
You're approaching from the north. The distortion field is supposed to only really be along the eastern coast of the island, but it appears to be expanding.
I mark it on the map, but with the aurora that's appearing, sort of that haze, do before in encountering Pokemon, particularly psychic ones?
I would say roll research.
Just waiting, thinking about it. Ooh, that was almost a D10. That is a 6.
Okay. This is unusual. You're not used to seeing anything like this, but there is something about it that does spark a memory that you think that this would look something like the artifacts you would see uh, you might see near the manifestation of what you had been calling an unresolved variable.
Ah. I'm going to draw, like, sort of like gesture in Peggy and Ephraim, and just indicate to them. I am sorry to say, does in fact match those theorized to surround the entity. I just thought you should all know.
Is
Got it.
there a path through the shoals that would allow us to circumvent that?
So,
Oh, well, it doesn't seem to be growing, and I just show like where the distortion is also growing from the radio.
yes, if nothing else, so the distortion field that is in front of you does not appear to growing to gradually envelop and encircle the island. As far as getting through it, you think you might be able to try and navigate a way through at least a portion of it that is less intense, but you would probably
That's sort of untested, and the mathematics behind it. I would need my lab, of course, to be able to take readings from. And he's just like sort of like stressfully like rambling about what to do.
I mean,
Uh,
I don't see
I'm
another
not
way
sure
around it.
I think maybe straight through and just try not to look at it.
So I'm trying not to look at. Yes. Well.
I mean, you said it's hard to look at it anyway, right? So it should be easy to not look at it.
Well, yes. I mean, there is that. There's a missing number, sort of. There is evidence that it removes certain variables, certain. But I suppose we are a bit in the midst of it. So
Look, if you got a shield handy, Professor.
well, you know, we could set up the Faraday. I'll get to work, and
I would let you make an attempt.
I would like to not destroy this thing. So what instead I'll do is those smaller sort of like cap ones that I created. I'm gonna
Your tinfoil hats, yes.
Tinfoil hats. I'm gonna go ahead and basically set up one of my reading monitors outside of it and one inside of it, and just we're going to study the effects because, you know, who's even to say that this could work? So maybe we'll see, and you know, set them up to take readings as we start to go in. Nothing bad could happen now.
I don't see how.
Oh, good. How are Ghastly and the other Pokemon going into this miasma?
I was gonna put mine up before we go into it, just based on what you described. I think Peggy's gonna assume they might be safer in Pokeballs. Not really based on any certain specific evidence, just hope.
I think similar line of logic for Ephraim.
Do I know whether or not that would be like true, or like is there a likelihood that the subspace, you know, sort of pockets of a Pokeball will protect our Pokemon from interference from the missing number, or is it like likely to make them more vulnerable to a planar shift?
Oh, because they're going back to like data.
It's a good question. Give me a research roll.
I
Because
will.
if they're safe in the Pokeballs, then we could put ourselves into Pokeballs, and then we'll be safe.
We could certainly try.
Then we'd have to have someone to let us out.
Or we devise a contraption where you just put like a Pokeball, like a giant Pokeball on your head, and you walk around with a giant Pokeball on your head.
That's another safe.
And then you're safe. Because you're a ball guy.
Because you're a ball guy. That's what keeps you safe. Apparently, you can quote Will.
That's why they do it.
Yeah,
we're gonna
Ball
put
Guy
that on
begins.
some shirts.
This is the backdoor pilot to Ball Guy's origin story.
So with 6, this is kind of untrod territory, but you think, if nothing else, if a missing number has been instantiated nearby, that if nothing else, it's probably going to be more. If your Pokemon are in Pokeballs, it's going to probably be more interested in you than in the Pokemon inside the Pokeballs.
Right. I think. Ooh, I think I'm actually gonna leave mine out, and if they look like they're in danger or being affected, I'll try to put them in the Pokeballs. But Hoopa is probably the best option I have as far as the ability, and like Ghastly exists within two planar shifts. So it's like Ghastly's currently existing like in a world of ghosts and dead, and also here with us. And Hoopa is able to use their hoops to transition through portals. So potentially they are the most likely to be able to interact in a positive way or be immune. So I think on that basis, I'm going to leave them out of their Pokeballs. But yeah, I do think it is wise to have everyone else put their Pokemon in Pokeballs.
Ephraim doesn't normally have them out, so that's easy.
Seems sus.
All right. In that case, you guys are kind of trying to plow on through.
Yeah,
And
step on the
yes.
gas.
Right. You
Do
push
you want me to
on.
do a research roll for the readings that I'm taking?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
You guys push on, cutting across the wine dark surface of the water and pressing ahead into this ephemeral field in front of you. Passing through it, you initially don't feel anything. There is this long moment. It's all
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I didn't say that. I just said you didn't have to roll for it.
It's an opportunity for me to give you free things without you even having to roll.
And only those free things, not
Yes.
not a bit more.
And nothing additional. If I let you roll, I have to give you things.
And
If I
God
let
forbid
you
you
roll,
roll
I have
well,
to
I
be
have to come up
prepared
with
for whatever
extra
happens.
things.
Yep.
But there's a long, long moment, almost, and you're sort of stuck in this loop of feeling, like the kind that you get when you've been sort of staring off into space for a long moment. You sort of come back to yourself, and you're not sure exactly how long you've been sitting there, and it's just sort of that distended and stretched. Cinnabar Island still looks in the distance, and you're boring full speed towards it. It doesn't feel like it's getting any closer. And the sky is bright, but the sea is dark. And yet, under the surface, you see luminous shapes, lines crisscrossing, pixels, and circuitry. And you don't know why, but you were just given suddenly to reminiscing about these moments in your life. Professor, you are sitting with your family in a shelter. There is the distant sound of an air raid siren, and there is a crackling, staticky radio nearby. You're down here with many of your friends and neighbors from Esper Bay, all of whom appear frightened and confused. Your wife is passed out from exhaustion, from helping corral all of your kids. Only your eldest daughter is still awake. She's actually had her drowsy help put the rest of them to sleep. And it's just you and her and the radio. This distant popping and crackling and buzzing with only a few words piercing through snippets of meaning. Shelter in place. Codename Mewtwo. Danger of fallout. And your eldest daughter looks at you and she just says, Dad, why is this happening?
Well, One of the worst things that you can ever do to anybody else is treat them like a thing, like a possession or commodity. And there are people who think they can treat Pokemon like that. And, well, I suppose some of us were a little too excited to learn about Pokemon. And we all ended up helping those commodity people a little more than we meant to. And they did that to Mewtwo. And now Mewtwo, well, I think Mewtwo is trying to make sure that never happens to any Pokemon ever again. So we're trying to stop Mewtwo, to give ourselves a chance to do it right again, to not treat Pokemon like commodities, to let everybody be friends and be free. So, well, we fight to try to make that happen. All of this is the fight. Does that make sense?
Somewhere far overhead, there is an explosion. And you
Collectively,
hear.
much more succinct of an answer, I approve.
And somewhere over far overhead, there is an explosion. You hear this thunder growing louder, and finally it shakes even the ground and the steel walls of the shelter around you, and the lights flicker and go out. Peggy.
Mhm.
In the darkness, you are aware suddenly of candles being lit in front of you. And there are faces in the flickering flames. Faces of the DeWicks, your found family, Absol Island. It's your wedding reception. You're sitting next to your doting husband, Willem, and this is, though your face may not betray it, the happiest day of your life. But as you look over the shoulders of the first real family you've ever had, you see a face that doesn't belong, that one that you recognize. In the back of the room, silhouetted against the daylight coming in from the outside, is a man in a crisp military uniform. And he has a sheaf of papers under his arm. You sort of assumed that this day would come, but you didn't think it would be today, of all days.
Get up and walk over to him.
Lieutenant, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I'd be catching you at a bad time.
Does it need to be today?
I wish it didn't have to be. But The orders are clear. The operation can't wait. My understanding is that we do not have much time.
Let me just go say goodbye then.
Take as much time as you need. I'll bring the car around.
I think she just goes back and doesn't bother talking to any of the rest of the family, just lets him know that she has to go, and then grabs her stuff. I feel like Peggy has a go bag somewhere nearby at most times.
Willem looks as though he is going to protest, to say something, but he stops himself and schools himself to that stern expression that you know so well. I'll run interference with the folks. Make sure they don't waylay. Make sure they don't waylay you too much. I know you don't want to drag this out any more than you have to.
Yeah. Well, keep a light on at the lighthouse for me. I'll be back soon enough.
You know I will. I love you.
Love you too.
And as you, with your army go bag slung over your shoulder, still in your wedding dress, walk out into the lit street, Ephraim, you are pressed in the middle of a mob of people. The sun is beating down on everyone. Everyone is hot. They're sweaty. They're dirty. They're tired. They're hungry. They are just pressing relentlessly towards the docks in Vermilion City. And you're pressing right along with them. There are people in uniform who are trying to control the chaos, trying to direct traffic. They're shouting into megaphones, but even that can't be heard over the din. And you're pressing right along with them because it is the only thing that you remember how to do anymore. Just because you can't think about anything else. You can't think about the sound of people screaming. You can't think about your parents. You can't think about all of the people that you've had to climb over just so they wouldn't climb over you. And up ahead of you, you see a well-dressed man in the throng. An army captain. And almost on instinct, you don't even really think about picking pockets anymore. It's reflex. It's why you're so good at it. He's distracted by trying to give orders to the men with megaphones. He's not thinking about you. And in a moment, as someone else in front of you jostles him, your hand slips into his pocket. And you feel the bill. You feel the billfold, and it's thick. And your momentary elation at this prize that you've managed to pluck out of a long, long, shitty day is suddenly shattered as you feel a hand grip you firmly by the wrist. But in that moment of terror, he looks down at you. and he lets you go. His billfold's still in your hand. And he just asks, "Where are you from, son?"
Around.
A lot of folks are from around. Where are you from? I grew up in Celadon, just up the way.
I'm from here, right? Oh,
You're from... me. Oh, that's me.
Oh no,
Can you hear me?
yeah.
we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, yeah,
But
give me a
how will
second.
we know if we're doomed and things
I
are a bad
know.
idea if we can't see your face?
What am I doing? I've lost the icon for my camera. That's
Oh no.
wild.
It
What
may
have I
have
done?
your webcam may have disconnected.
But it's still like the ring light is still on. It's still clearly. Hang on. Let me leave the call and come back.
Okay.
Can we all just take a moment to honor the casual with like, hey, leave a light on for me at the house, and know that he made a lighthouse.
Yep. Yep.
Oh.
That was very good. That was very good. Yeah. But also, is it a code name if it's just the name? Because he said code name Mewtwo. I'd argue that's not a code name. You're back.
Yes.
Maybe it had like an actual like good Pokemon name.
It likely had a
don't think it did.
numerical identifier as its real name.
In
And
the
then they
preamble
codename
for
it.
in the preamble for the first movie, I'm pretty sure they call him Mewtwo.
Mew,
I think they say
Well,
Project
yeah, because
Mewtwo.
because they've been
Part
calling
2.
it Codename Mewtwo for so long. They just, forgot the original name.
Project Mewtwo is different from Codename Mewtwo, though. Codename implies that that's not its real name.
Mm-hmm.
We're in an alternate reality.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So you were from
One of which
Kanto.
notes
I don't know if
YouTube.
we established exactly where in Kanto you were from, but you're from Kanto. So
Yeah,
wherever
for
in there, wherever in there you would want to be from.
Right. Okay, cool. Interesting. Okay. Viridian.
Brittany's a nice place. Here it's pretty green this time of year.
You haven't been there recently.
No.
Not so green anymore.
Yeah. Celadon was pretty nice too. Not as much anymore. Viridian, that's over in the western part of the region, yeah?
I guess.
And your folks, you go out on the water much?
I guess.
Do you know your way around?
Yeah.
I need somebody. I need
Are
somebody
you arresting me?
No, son, I'm not arresting you. I need somebody who knows the western part of Kanto. Based on that little trick you just pulled, it seems like you know how to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I found your wallet on the ground over here.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Where it fell.
Uh-huh. Do you mind if I have that back?
Hand it back to him.
Yeah.
Does he do the and the money?
No. He takes the wallet back, and I'm assuming the money is still in it at this moment. Yeah. I know, and he's kind of trying to have this conversation as people are still kind of jostling him to either side, but he keeps his gaze fixed on you. I need somebody who knows how to take care of themselves, who knows the western part of Kanto. Is that you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I know it like the back of my hand.
All right. He peels off fully half the bills in his wallet, and he presses them into your hand along with a slip of paper, a ticket to the converted cruise liner currently in dock that is about to ferry people out across the water to Alola. When you get there, find Captain Angelica Dallas. Tell her that Captain Peacebody sent you. Okay?
Okay.
All right, well, you better hurry up. It's leaving soon. Take care of yourself, okay?
Hey, mister.
Yep.
I heard some people talking in line, and they said that Celadon was still standing.
Good to hear. Hopefully I'll get to see it again before too long.
I think it looks like Ephraim's thinking about saying something else, but he kind of gets swept away by the crowd onto the ship.
And with that swaying of the crowd, of this press of bodies, you are sort of pushed up and down and side to side like you're awash on the waves. And suddenly you all are. You're on a boat, on the water, and Cinnabar Island is looming in front of you.
Like how looming? Like we're
Lo-
gonna
lo-
crash.
Looming in the sense that you are nearly there. Like
Okay.
not you are very close, like closer than you ever realized, but not close enough that you have to like avert crashing onto the beach.
Got it. Okay. There it is.
Yep.
Cinnabon Island. Just like the last time I saw it.
Well, you got us here. One hell of a guide, kid.
Of course I did. That's my job.
Never had a doubt. Well, we should get about it. Daylight, burning, and we should. Who wants to go through a jungle in the middle of the night?
All right, you guys manage to beach your craft and unload your supplies, and taking a look at the map of Cinnabar Island, you can cut a pretty straight shot through the jungle and should be approaching the main city on Cinnabar Island from the north.
So, refresh my memory. The strength of the signal was strongest in the north, as far as the missing number.
So for the missing numbers, the distortion field was focused in on the eastern shore
Eastern side.
of the island. This is why part of why they were having difficulty communicating with the team that they had originally dispatched to the island to try and retrieve the information on Mewtwo.
Gotcha. Okay. As a clarification, does the professor understand the information we have about the missing numbers sort of being attached to larger catastrophes?
It is something you have theorized about.
Okay. All right. Then because that will matter in the future. Then I suppose we're headed north to the origin point, the mansion, correct? Where the experiments were conducted?
Yeah.
That is the objective.
Well then
No
we
point wasting time.
yes, we'd best be off. Gas I'm gonna ask Ghastly to sort of scout a little bit ahead, to just sort of keep an eye out for incoming or danger.
Yeah. Same with the moment we were back on land. Pokemon are both back out of Pokeballs, and X-Ray is immediately prowling off to the side, out of sight, keeping an eye out while Tango hovers close.
And you trek off into the jungle, ghastly, almost sublimating into the mist of the jungle, such that you can barely see it. Just this cloud floating gently ahead of you. And Luxray just becoming this dark shape that darts occasionally between the trees. And you actually don't really encounter much. Seemingly, it's you're hyper alert for anything that might be coming after you, given what you've been led to expect. But at least here, the jungle seems devoid of life, animal or Pokemon or human. I mean, there's not even the sound of insects. It's eerily
Eerie.
quiet.
Yeah. The type of quiet that sets off your hindbrain and goes, "You're being hunted." Like when you walk through the woods.
And as you were getting close to the city, that you hear an explosion.
From which direction?
From ahead of you.
Oof. Okay.
So inside the city. Okay.
Yeah.
Does Ghastly return at all, or
Ghastly does sort of reform ahead of you.
okay? I'm going to just. What did you see? Is it Mewtwo? Is there like a yes, no? What? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Sort of shakes its spherical body, shakes its face back and forth. Right.
Not Mewtwo. The missing number? All right. Well then, I'm willing to go up against whatever that was then, if it's not, a cosmic horror or an incredibly powerful psychic angry Pokemon. I'm just gonna pass that information off to Peggy. Since I don't make the decisions here, I'm just a bumbling professor.
That's your military rank.
Bumbling professor.
I have a very good security clearance and a very low rank.
Yeah, the official rank is BP1.
Yeah.
And then in turn, as you get up a little bit further, Peggy, you find Luxray clearly hunched over, crawling through the brush so as not to be seen, and its eyes Always be bumbling is true. You see its eyes are sort of faintly glowing in the way that it normally does when it is using its extra senses. So when it is using its Lux-ray vision, if you will. And it is scanning through the buildings that you can see coming out of the green ahead of you. In the areas that have been cleared, that are under the piercing sun and the shadow of the volcano. And it finally zeroes in on a particular point. Following its gaze, you can see that several sections of the city are burning. And that it looks like there is a... I've lost the name of this Pokemon. Yes, and you can see that it looks like there is a Heatmore standing in the street, and it is looking for something. And periodically, when it thinks that it has seen something, it will loose forth with a flamethrower into one of the structures and immolate it.
Oof.
Trying not to draw attention to myself. Can Ephraim look at the heat more and then maybe muttering under his breath, but I think mostly just thinking in his mind, just be like, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Can I try to use my psychic powers to put this Pokemon to sleep?
I'm going to say, so you start to feel it, and you can start to feel it beginning to work. You don't understand your powers very well, but you know there's something going on. You can start to feel that little bit of like the power of suggestion that you've learned that you have. But I think you're realizing that you're still a little too far away right now. That in order, especially given how large and how mad it is, you think that you might be able to do it. It's not out of the question, but you would have to get a lot closer to be able to make that happen.
Excuse me. Then I think Ephraim is going to start moving closer, or at least try to.
Okay. Just moving on ahead of the group.
Yeah. But like sneakily. They're at least attempting to be.
All right. Well, at least the other two of you. So you see randomly Ephraim, this 13-year-old kid, randomly start muttering something to himself vaguely under his breath, and then starts trying to sneak off ahead of you into the burning city.
Hold on a second. You can go first, Liz, if you want.
Okay, I think Peggy will just. I mean, it's got Pokemon, so she's gonna start also sneaking, but like going around, so that they'll end up on kind of like coming at this thing from different angles. Assuming this thing is the way we need to go, right? Seemingly.
In the city, yes. The mansion is in the city itself.
Okay, then yeah, she'll just start going off, kind of just split off, but still heading the same direction, just kind of to catch it from a different angle.
Do my psychic reading doodads go off?
Not here.
Not with Ephraim trying to do things?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit, like...
Yeah. There's a little... It moves the needle a little bit. My finger keeps getting hidden by the digital background. It's moving the needle a little bit.
Okay. I am just gonna follow Ephraim because there's a child going off into the woods alone. And as much as they're, of an age of Pokemon trainers, I
am 13. I am a full-grown adult in this universe.
I know.
Yeah, you could be a champion.
Yeah.
But I have a daughter of a similar age, And I
You
am
don't
fully
say.
aware. I am fully aware of the type of catastrophic trouble a teen in the woods can get up to. So I'll follow behind. Also, I don't want to get lost, and you are our guide. So it seems like a plan. There might be shooting the way that Peggy's going, and I don't think I care for that.
All right.
Do I have a gun?
I don't know.
No. You do not have
This
a
is
gun. You just have
Pokemon.
you just have
No,
Pokemon.
I was wondering. I'm like,
Sorry.
I like to think about this. I'm like, oh, can I just
There might be
solve this
violence the
Poke
way
problem
Peggy's
real
going.
quick?
Can
In
I-
a
can I-
way, we all have guns.
Yeah.
Yes, we all have
Like,
Pokemon.
no, you don't have a gun. You in fact have something immeasurably more dangerous.
Yes.
Very
Pokemon.
fair. But again, of the theory of Mewtwo would never expect the punch.
Right.
Just
Have we tried? Have we
Have we
tried?
tried?
Have we tried just shooting Mewtwo with a gun?
I feel like we tried nukes, so
is true.
I'm gonna
Yes,
assume an escalation of force started with weapons of
Yes,
smaller caliber.
they did try to nuke Mewtwo. They probably didn't start by trying to nuke Mewtwo.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. See, yeah, you start
maybe
with a
this is why
smaller
we no
caliber
longer
weapon.
have guns.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe this is the end of guns in the Poke universe.
Did they try to nuke Mewtwo?
Yeah, that was implied that like there was some nuclear fallout thingies going on. I assume Mewtwo was like, "Oh, you're gonna shoot bullets at me? All right, well, this is annoying enough. I'm just going to disintegrate your bullet factories." And then we just were like, "Well, we're gonna throw a nuke at you." And then Mewtwo was like, "And I'm gonna turn it on you." Like, just turn that right back around. Bloop. Like,
Yes, it has generally been implied that there was some type of nuclear exchange that occurred around the time that Mewtwo went rogue. Yes.
Mewtwo had nukes.
Well,
No.
Mewtwo could take control of the people that had control over the nukes.
Yep, that.
Could also potentially telekinetically redirect ICBMs in flight.
Ooh. Man, Pokemon's scary.
Yep. But and on that uplifting note, actually, I've been drinking a lot of water this session. So can we actually take another quick 5-minute break?
Yeah, 5-minute break.
Hydration's important.
It
Yeah.
is. We'll be back shortly. Don't go away. Give us 5 minutes.
And we are back. You guys are descending into the burning city, sort of approaching this heat more from both sides. First, let's follow. Okay, so my understanding was that Professor, you were following Ephraim, and then Peggy, you were kind of circling around from the other side, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
What about our people that are with us, the soldiers? Are they just following Peggy?
I think it's just us.
Just you guys right now.
We had to leave the soldiers on the original boat. To
I
distract
thought
the
that was the
sharks.
sailors, and then
There is another team that was first sent here, but you haven't found them yet. Though I am getting to that. As Peggy, you are circling around behind the heat war, and it begins torching another building, and you see a back door get kicked open, and about 4 soldiers pile out, huffing and coughing. Their uniforms are torn and covered with soot, and they stumble out into the alley, sort of getting their bearings and sort of head starting around and looking for where their next move is going to be. What do you do?
Are they? How far away are they roughly?
You would have to cross a street to get to them, but you could reach them pretty easily. And they're close. They're close enough you could call out to them, although that might attract the attention of the heat more. You're not sure.
Yeah. Trying to avoid making the noise. Am I in a place where I could move to where they could see me, but the Heatmore wouldn't see me? Using the
think
buildings?
you could do that. I think yes.
Yeah, I think she's gonna move just a little bit more into the open, and then just like kind of like wave/signal out at them. Maybe even have like X-ray like spark with electricity a little bit to kind of like make a little flash to get their attention.
Hmm. One of them spots you and gets the other's attention, and they both look at you somewhat confusedly, but they start signaling back and forth as best as they can. Um, and give me a quick tactics roll.
Okay.
Is it a 1 or a 7?
That's a
That's a
7,
great question.
7. Okay.
I think.
I think so because I'm player 6. So according to the log,
Okay. Cool.
yes, that's a 7.
All right. you it takes you a moment to sort of get a sense of what they're saying, because their signs they're making are so tired and frantic. The immediate thing that they are trying to communicate to you, you suddenly realize, is there's another one. And you hear overhead this whistling, rapidly increasing in volume. What do you do?
Immediately like bolt to the side with
Okay.
X-ray.
Okay. Give me a fitness check.
Okay.
This would be a great time to have a gun.
There's a 3.
Right. You dive to the side, but you are still pitched forward by the force of this bursting projectile. And parts of your clothing catch fire as they are struck by chunks of lava and burning rock. You take is it harm in this game? I don't know.
Wound.
No, oh, a wound. Yes, yeah. You take a wound as a trainer, and you are able to roll yourself out. So you are no longer aflame, but blearily looking back into the smoke that is stinging your eyes. You see trundling out of the alleyway a large magmortar.
Got it.
And
Is this a
back
battle?
over. It will be. Actually, yes. We'll just make this into a collective battle scene here. If you want to drop both the heat more and the mag mortar on there.
I would love to.
Also, if it does ever become relevant, Peggy technically has 5 toughness, not 4.
Okay.
Since
Cool.
these
Cool.
things are fine taking shots at people.
Yep. Yep. Cool. Peggy has 5 toughness, not 4. Good to know. All right. So. All right. So, what Pokemon are each of you going to be using for this?
Luxray, absolutely.
Okay.
I think we're at Ghastly. Because Ghastly was out and doing things.
I think Finn, my Inky.
Okay. Inky. All right. Two. There we go. Using the dice roller, see if that works. There we go. And one more. Okay. If you guys want to roll your tactics for initiative.
Son of a bitch.
Mm. Going up. Oh, yay. Okay.
And 2. Okay, so between Ephraim and the professor, which of you would like to go first?
I think Ephraim's probably leading
Yeah.
in the front, so.
Okay, cool. So in that case, I believe that Peggy is going first.
Okay. First things first, when Luxray does have Intimidate, so upon entering the battle, the opponent's attack stat is lowered. We're going to do that. I don't know if you want to do it as like a penalty on the Mag Mortar or what, but
Yeah, sounds good. To give him -1.
and then I think yeah, Peggy kind of dived out of the way and got hit by this, but Luxray was already off to the side, and so as this like Mag Mortar walks out, Luxray kind of like sneaks up out of the darkness to the side of it and leaps at it to do a Thunder Fang. That is a D8 plus a D8. That's a 12.
Spicy.
Let me look at my status effects real quick because I get to choose between flinch or paralysis with Thunder Fang. I actually think we're gonna do. Oh no, we're gonna go with the flinch because that piles on a -2 onto the already existing -1.
Okay, all right. Stu plus
So yeah,
2
well,
for the
Luxray just
flinch.
leaps out, claws in, bites down, and like a pulse of electricity goes through the Magmortar before it leaps off again.
Mhm. All right, and Luxray leaps forward into action, wrestling with the mag mortar. And the mag mortar was not expecting to suddenly encounter this kind of resistance, and it is visibly taken aback and shaken by this sudden assault. Uh, Meanwhile, the Heatmore uh, is alerted to this struggle that is happening over here and turns around and clocks both Ephraim and the professor. Mm, right, that is a 9. That is the long thin, flame-like tongue of the Heatmore sneaking out of it and lashing out towards you. And it is Ghastly that takes the blow for 1 wound.
From you're moving first, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Well, in that case, I think we're going to see if we can. I think Ephraim's going to say, Finn, that one with the big guns. Let's see if we can't mix him up a little. Psywave. Sorry, Psybeam. So, gonna do that. Gonna use Psybeam. You have a thing. Okay. Cool. So I am a type specialist for psychic. And so my psychic moves are a step higher than they actually are.
Nice.
So in this case, son of a bitch, so a success, but not a crit. So
And you were targeting
wound.
what, the mag mortar with that?
I was, yeah.
Okay, cool.
A wound, but no confusion, alas.
Yeah, is indeed the mag mortar, while it is busy wrestling with the Luxray, is caught totally off guard by the sudden Psybeam coming from the Inkay, leaving it shocked and dazed. And then it's the professor's go.
So I think the professor turns to Ghastly, and having seen Ghastly take damage is upset, but says, Ghastly, use smog. We just need some cover. We need to get out of here. We should retreat. We shouldn't be fighting. And like he utilizes smog. I'm gonna use heart.
I think yes, yeah. For this you can use heart.
Yeah, I originally, when specking him out, was thinking more soft dad, but then I was like,
Well,
oh no,
I
I
think
shouldn't.
particularly because your idea here is to create a diversion so that you can get away.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's. Wow. I'm trying to like move through. Okay, so that's 8, 6. I roll both of them. Yeah, cool.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a 10.
Oh, is it? Great. It actually hasn't stopped rolling for me yet. So that does mean I think that they gain the poisoned.
All right. And which were you targeting?
The main one, the anteater guy. I forget what his name is. I'm
Heatmore?
sorry.
Okay,
Heatmore, yeah.
cool. More damage and gets poison, so his toughness is going to be going down. Ghastly fills the square with this haze that fills everything and obscures everything around, and you can see the Heatmore sort of covering its eyes as it clearly is burned by the smog, and it has these exhaust ports that sort of breathe in heavily and raggedly in this thick, tight smog. And it is the Magmortor. Nope, nope, that's not right.
We all get very thinky and stop talking when we're in battle. Have you noticed that? I feel bad about the long drawn out air times of silence, but I'm also just like, we have to plot moves here. You don't understand.
It's true. There's a lot going on.
Will has to make the Pokemon dance. There's moving parts here.
Admittedly, I've been slacking on that. We blew the animation budget.
Yeah,
it's true. Two Pokemon that big.
It's too late. It's too late in the season at this point.
Hi, puppy. Have you decided now you want to go out?
As the Heatmore, still staggered by this, sorry, the Magmortar, I should say, still staggered by this, takes a flailing shot into the air with its cannon, another lava plume that arcs out into the air and lands in the middle of the street, exploding outward with a shockwave that deals 1 wound to each of your Pokemon.
Oh no.
It's not ideal.
That's why I was like,
also
we should get out of
conveniently hit the Heatmore?
Alas, no.
That's some pretty fine control.
Mm-hmm.
It's also harder for a fire type to do damage to a
Heather, whose side are you on?
The mechanics, I think, in this situation. Listen, you don't want to establish that fire type Pokemon can do normal damage to fire type Pokemon because you have a fire type Pokemon in the future.
I have one fire type Pokemon.
He's your main dude.
He's not. Golduck is my main dude.
Oh. Puppy.
Are you guys want to roll off for initiative?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess. I forget we'd have to do that every round. Oops. What is my...
Hey, there we go.
Good old D4. Let's see where
I got
that
a
gets us.
13.
Woo, spicy.
Nice.
Womp womp for the professor.
That feels right though for the professor. Like I mean,
Womp indeed. You're bumbling.
yeah,
That's the brand.
it's on brand. On brand.
ABB.
Not
ABB.
a fighter, lover.
Mm-hmm.
That's why heart and zero tactics.
I don't like that. That's essentially just saying, "Oh, the professor fucks."
Have you seen how many children the professor
That's the
ends
thing.
up
That's
with?
what I'm saying. It's like, "Oh, the professor, he fucks."
I mean, it could also just be Mrs. Esper, the Esper fucks.
She fucks.
She fucks. He's just along for the ride.
I mean, there's nothing saying they can't both fuck.
There's a lot saying that they do both have to actually.
Do in
In
fact.
fact, that
Quite
generally
often.
that generally is required for that size of a family to happen.
Our children are
assuming they are all
generally disgusted
biological.
with the fact that we like each other. So
Yeah, they at home they are Gomez Morticia Adams level of horny.
he had an admiration in his tone when he described that his wife would, rip someone's throat out with her own teeth. Like
We should all be so lucky.
Yes.
Ephraim, it is your turn.
That is me.
Yeah, with your spicy initiative.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I'm gonna say. Okay.
When it entered the battlefield, the Magmortar seemed to be weakened by it. The Heatmore did not.
Yeah.
Give me a quick tactics roll.
Okay. I can do that. Nope.
Nope. Yeah, you don't know. The heat moor didn't seem to be particularly affected by it, but for what reason that might be, it escapes you.
All right, cool. Then I'm gonna say that no more messing around, Finn. Night Slash. And I think we're gonna go after the Magmortar again. Really picking on it.
Stop picking on me.
7.
That will do
So
it.
close.
Success.
It is a success. I will do another wound.
Yeah, Justin, fucking grip it, baby. Slop that
Thanks
down,
for your
dude.
donation. Have we tried
dude,
a gun?
Crack one for the big boy.
No, we haven't. It's a good thought.
Have you tried a gun? We tried nukes, but we didn't try a gun. Rookie mistake.
Mhm. And indeed, as Inkay sneaks up behind the staggered Magmortar that is still trying to sort of fire aimlessly into the air, that the Night Slash comes up, raking across its bulbous body and
Bulbous.
bulbous.
It does kind of have an egg shape, doesn't it? With like legs.
Actually, so also just double checking, I realized something. Luxray used what? Did Luxray use a physical contact move when it attacked Magmortar before?
Yeah, it was Thunderfang.
Okay, cool. I just need to make a quick roll. I forgot to do that.
Did you get burned? Question mark?
Maybe. We'll find out.
It's always the danger with Pokemon.
All right. No, Luxray is not burned. But steam coming off of it from the contact of water on heated metal. And the mortar actually tumbles over backwards with a massive thud in the street that shakes the ground. And you can see some of the intense heat that is radiating out from its body slowly start to dull. The glowing red of its hide dimming somewhat. However, as Inkay floats back to you, you do clearly see that it appears the contact with the Magmortar's superheated body did cause Inkay to be burned.
Who's up?
That would be, I think, yes, the Heatmore is next.
I know you guys can hear the music, but we can't hear the music, so
Mm-hmm.
I have to make my own.
It is true.
Helps me get in the zone.
Are you in the zone?
No,
Have you zoned?
but I'm trying. I'm trying so hard after this long week of work. It's only Tuesday.
This is not going very well. I will say that much.
I'm almost up the hump for the hump day, I guess.
I highly recommend planning a vacation at the end of your week. I only have to make it through one more day.
That's awesome.
That's fair. Technically, I'm working until Friday, but I will be leaving early on Friday, and I do not plan to do much work between now and then.
I will show up on Friday.
Yeah.
Be sitting at my desk.
Well, these are work from home days, so
Oh, nice.
even better.
See, in retail land, I just have to stand around for the next 2 days seeing nobody except for a few people who I go, "You're late." Everything was the weekend. Because we are post all of the fun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And the Heatmore. Let me actually just do a quick roll and see who it's going to be targeting.
Not me.
Well, you don't know that yet.
No, don't make it me. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, the whole plaza is filled with smoke. Is it really targeting anything?
Right? Yeah. No, that's why I'm rolling randomly. To see it is lashing out literally with its heat lash and just trying to see what it hits.
It doesn't hit you, but it hits a building, and that hits you.
Mhm.
What are you doing? You can't
Nothing.
kill the DM that way.
Not me.
Oh, yeah, it's doing it on its own.
It breaks the fourth wall and lashes out.
All right.
And indeed, the heat lash strikes outward in this long line through the smoke in a random direction, peeling up cobblestones as it does so, sparks flying as the heat lash strikes Luxray for 1 wound and a burn.
Mm.
Yeah, this whole sabotaging these fire types thing is not really working out. Like, turns out making fire just go everywhere recklessly. Not the best strategy.
I wasn't trying to sabotage them. I was trying to give us cover for retreat, and no one has retreated.
Yeah, it didn't really seem like the time to start doing strategy when we haven't thus far.
Listen, hey, at this point, like its target was randomized,
Which is better than going after the weak one.
and Peggy, it's your turn. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, if that had hit Haunter, sorry, that had hit Ghastly was gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
Right. So, but hypothetically, this Heatmore is still like in a cloud of like gaseous, foggy smoke.
Yes. Yeah. Heatmore is surrounded by smoke, some of which seems to be coming from its own sort of exhaust-like physiology, and then some of which has been spread around the field by Ghastly.
So yeah, I think Luxray is gonna target it, and with you see its eyes shift into that particular Luxray vision as you themed it, um, and it's going to sneak into the smoke, and it is going to try and sneak up on the Heatmore and use Night Slash.
Okay.
Do we do extra damage? If it's sneak attack 2 times damage? It's important.
You get an extra
in
3d6?
Yeah, right. Yeah. In this case, no, although Heatmore's toughness is lowered by the fact that it was poisoned.
Yes.
That is literally perfect. Wait,
Yeah,
no, actually, I get to go off
Oh, yeah,
that
you
anyway.
can re-roll that too. Yeah.
Never. I was
It
gonna
will
say extra
explode.
anyway because of how Night Slash works, but I also get the extra 8. So let's see.
You double crit. Triple crit.
That's a 15. So
Ooh.
not quite a double crit, unfortunately, but definitely still a strong.
Yeah.
hit.
Even with the extra crit and the lower toughness, not quite a double crit, but it does do a single crit.
And yeah, it's just gonna be double damage.
Double damage. Okay. Yeah. And Luxray stalking up through the smog, and seeing momentarily through Luxray's eyes, seeing the sort of the glowing outline of the Heatmore and its various biomechanical components neatly, almost sort of like zooming in like a reticle on where it's going to strike, and it coils like a spring before shooting out in this dark streak that pierces the smog, raking across the Heatmore's body. And indeed, the Heatmore slumps forward onto the cobblestones, unconscious.
He's hopping mad.
He's down too, right?
Yeah, he's down too.
Good, right?
Oh, is he? Oh, I missed
Yep.
that. Sorry.
Yep. Inkay took him out.
Right.
Yes,
right.
got burned by the hit, but Inkay took him out.
Well, then we have completed this challenge.
Indeed.
I think the professor rushes forward to check on the Pokemon that have just fallen.
It is a little hard to get close to the Magmortar as it's still radiating out a lot of heat, though you are able to get close to the heat more if you cover your mouth to avoid the white smoke that it exudes every time that it takes a breath. Both of them are unconscious, but they should recover in time.
Do they give off readings consistent with control by Mewtwo?
Give me a research roll.
Is it giving Mewtwo?
Is it giving Mewtwo vibes? That's what I am I sensing a Mewtwo?
It's giving Mewtwo?
Switching between tabs is an ordeal here.
Love a trackpad.
Right?
Did you know
Let's
that there are
roll.
people who buy mice that are giant trackpads for like desktop
Monsters.
computers?
Monsters.
Yeah. I can't imagine anyone who would do that, Justin.
Is it for like drawing? Is it?
No, it's just that's for a mouse. It's just a giant, not giant even. It's just a touchpad.
I little
Why did you roll just 20?
I rolled once. I have no idea what just happened.
If the first one was the 10, then your technically that's all appropriate if it did happen in order of 10, 10, 5.
I hit roll once. So that's cool. What is happening? Can I make it stop?
You rolled the max on your die, so you would have gotten a re-roll. So
that's true.
That roll is technically accurate as long as the order was in fact 10, 10, 5.
We don't hate. I'll allow it.
How do we tell?
It's good enough.
You're just gonna allow it. You're like, you get a 25. Do I
Technically,
sense
you
move?
rolled 2 10s and a 5.
There were 2 10s out of 3. So
I will permit it. I will allow it to be so.
Okay.
All right. Yes. You are now really getting the bead on this scanner that you have, especially since you have time to like really thoroughly examine them. And yes, you get the sense that it is a weak psychic signature, but it is very present. These seem to be that they're not being like controlled by Mewtwo like directly. Indeed, pet alert. Real life Pokemon spotted. So that'll be controlled by Mewtwo in the sense that like Mewtwo is like directly puppeting their actions, but there is definitely like a presence of Mewtwo, sort of like in
maybe pushing their motivation.
Yes,
like
in the back of their minds. That is, the Mewtwo is giving them some psychic guidance, essentially.
Like a post-hypnotic suggestion type of thing, where it's like you will.
Sort of, yeah. There's sort of the Mewtwo is sort of present in the back of their minds, giving them like little pushes and little directions.
They just hear small little.
They weren't giving Mewtwo. Mewtwo was giving them.
Just a small little voice in the back of their mind going, "Don't you just want to go ape shit?
Aren't you sick of being nice?"
Right.
Disrespect yourself.
I saw a very appropriate for the times version of that meme, which was who was it in the original one? Daisy talking to Peach, I think. And so this was Peach talking to Daisy, and it was, aren't you sick of going ape shit? Don't you want to just be nice? I was like, I relate to that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Okay, then I'm gonna make notations of that and sort of I guess go check on the soldiers that just exited and
Yeah, they are collapsed in the alleyway, and they look very relieved. Lieutenant, I wasn't expecting to see you.
No need for titles, soldier.
Why is
I
there
hand out
why is
waters.
there a child?
Well, you see, all the soldiers were deployed, and we didn't hear back from them. So apparently, we're at the stage of recruiting random scientists and children.
Yeah, that
That's
sounds about
right.
fucking right.
I'm here
Well,
to
I'm
do your
hardly-
job for you.
I'm hardly random. I am actually an expert in essentially what's going on here.
I'll have you know I'm a bumbling scientist of the first degree.
I am a first degree bumbling scientist. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I got my degree in bumbling science from a highly rated university.
I hand out rations and water, and I'm checking as much as I know how wounds.
They
Yeah.
guzzle the water. It is
Yeah.
gone in seconds. Oh, so glad you're here. We got cut off communications, and suddenly they were on us. All our Pokemon got knocked out, and we got no supplies left, and we've just been pinned down, trying to stay one step ahead of them.
Were your guns ineffective?
It's,
He did say the Pokemon were knocked out.
Right. What is that, some kind of Pokemon?
where you been, kid?
Gungars, yes.
Guns don't work on these things.
Yeah.
Why do I feel incredibly confident that not a single one of them has a water Pokemon for the Fire Pokemon Island? Because all those are still with the sailors on the ship battling the water Pokemon. And no one's allowed to give Ash Ketchum shit about not knowing type advantage ever again.
Look, Pokemon types are still a very young science.
It's true.
It's
Wait, if we put water on fire, it works better.
No. Silly.
I mean, I brought a steel type, so I'm not exactly throwing around any stones in that house. But
I brought a Pokemon that looks like a water type. It's just
yeah,
not.
I look.
It's
Can't learn a single water move. The
Nope.
squid cannot, not even a little bit.
No.
Maybe through TMs.
I don't think so.
No.
Do
I
they
think
have
I saw
anyone
rain
that,
dance in there somewhere.
Maybe Water Pulse. That's the only one
to
that I can
power up
imagine.
its non-existent water.
Non-existent water moves? Yeah.
do they have anyone who's been doing their navigation or marking where they are on their map type of thing and what they've run
Do
across?
you see a 13-year-old? Clearly they don't have a guide. They're the only
That's true.
people in this universe who know directions.
No, but if they're military, somewhere there's someone with a bunch of beads on a lanyard keeping distances and things. As
Yes, there is. Yes, there is someone who has been keeping track of their position on a very singed map and a partially melted compass.
Yeah. While you guys are talking to them and debriefing, I'm gonna go ahead and start copying all that informations.
Yes, it looks as though that a good section of the city is either currently on fire or has very recently been on fire. Many streets are blocked off with rubble.
I should say we might want to get out of this general area. There are quite toxic fumes that come from, in particular, the burning of some of the building materials. Asbestos has been known. I mean, we're still in the studying stages, of course, but it's just really not great for the lungs. I mean, you can only smoke so many cigarettes to clear things out.
And actually,
I'm just gonna make that joke.
In fact, actually, like looking up asbestos.
Asbestos.
Because like, in fact, actually, like looking up into some of the like the black plumes of smoke that are coming from some of the burning buildings, not near you, but up in the sky, just up as some of those plumes starting to disperse into the air. You can see these sort of speck-like shapes of coughing gently floating in the smog.
Enjoying a nice stew and some toxic fumes.
Mm-hmm.
Before we move on, while we were treating everything under the sun but these, can the professor also look at the 2 burn Pokemon? Is that something that the professor could potentially treat? Because burns stick around.
Theoretically. What would you like me to roll for that?
I would say research again.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that.
We only got 4 stats.
We got 4 stats.
I figured it
Which
was
one would you
research.
like?
That's why I'm asking the professor to do it.
Yeah.
Technically, we have more. Julian has cooking.
Well, Julian's
And
not here.
Ephraim
Is he?
has ESP.
Okay, come on. All right, let's see if I can get 1 this time.
I'll get
He
more
is
than
good
one.
at 2 things: fighting and training for fighting.
Once. Hold on. And
Some would argue those are the same thing.
roll
Not
dice.
Peggy.
Fitness and tactics.
Hey,
Technically
that's 2.
different.
Did we roll? We rolled?
Yep.
Yeah, I got an 8. That's great. Let's do that.
You can cobble together out of your supplies that you brought. You are able to sort of get together enough to make a decent burn heal. Only 1 use, though. So you'd have to choose whether you would want to heal the burn for Luxray or Inkay.
I'm going to leave that to the group. I don't really understand the tactical advantage of either. Well, I mean, I understand the abilities of each Pokemon. Like, I just bumble around like the idea of like, I only have 1 bandage. Who do get?
Look, Lieutenant, I know you're gonna try to treat me like I'm a kid, but I don't want any special treatment. It should be you. I mean, it should be Luxray. Am I 13? Sure. In a dangerous situation? Absolutely. With only my Pokemon to protect me? Yeah. And are you a grown, trained military adult? Yeah. I don't want any special treatment, okay? I want you to use it.
Well, I appreciate the sentiment. I think it makes more tactical sense for Inkay to take advantage of it.
We are only as strong as our weakest member, so I'll go ahead and just, just tie up the Pokemon. Along the way, if I'm able, I'll keep an eye out for aloe, local plants, something I can utilize to do that later.
All right, so what is your next move at this point?
I think our next move is to get out of the city and just, are we going to make camp? Is it dark?
It's still middle of the day at this point, getting into afternoon.
We were headed to the mansion, which is in the city, right? So
Yeah.
I think we
I think we
just
should at least try to reach the mansion.
Oh, I thought it was on the edges of the city. Okay. Cool.
It's going to take you a little bit to get there just because of, again, the way that the street grid has been so thoroughly fucked.
Plus the asbestos breathing. Like, I mean, that's got to just slow down your runtime.
Yeah, probably want to avoid the burning piles of building materials. But you could get to the mansion before sundown.
Cool.
I'm keeping Luxray in their Pokeball after we realized that we couldn't treat the burn, so it's not having to like run around with it, and we'll just keep Tango out.
How long does it take for a Pokemon to recover from a normal wound?
So normally we have been largely hand-waving it due to your ready access to potions and free universal healthcare. But this is war, son. So unfortunately, those wounds are going to stick around until the end of this particular story.
Oh, no.
Barring locating any healing items.
Oh.
Like a Healy table?
Like you know, if you do find a Healy table somewhere.
Since I am one of the experts on Pokemon and the missing numbers and the things, could I cobble a Healy table if we found enough things?
If you found enough parts, potentially, you don't currently have enough parts, although you are heading to the Pokemon Mansion where you do know that they had a weird lab full of shit, so...
Labs tend to have medical materials, things that could be, yes, I could maybe do that.
So not out of the question that you could potentially cobble something together there.
Okay, cool. Do we want to stop at the mansion, or do we want to carry on? What's the feel? I don't feel like the mansion's going to be a quick...
No, I was going to have you guys just get to the mansion for the end of this session.
Okay.
That sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do we run across anything else as we go along? Or is it just rubble and fire?
Mostly it's just rubble and fire. You don't see any other fire-type Pokemon like Magmortar or Heatmor. The main thing you're trying to do is sort of just stay away from the toxic fumes and the coughing that seem to be sort of swarming around them, and just generally having a jolly old time about it.
They like to play.
And you reach, finally on the map, the compound. This large mansion, originally built for the colonial governor of the island centuries ago, in this antique architecture, these high walls. There is a large wrought iron gate flanked by gargoyles on the front that sort of just hangs loose and open, long since shaken open and apart by the explosions that have rocked the city. Its exterior is crumbling, its windows cracked, overgrown with ivy and stranger vegetation still. The front door similarly hangs open like a black maw, the shadows within concealing whatever might lay inside.
We go in.
All right. You guys head in, walking into the darkened front doors of the Pokemon Mansion. Camera zooming out just slightly, see a broken window on the second floor above you, where it looks like there's someone standing there. A young boy. Can't see his face. Blue jacket, galoshes, yellow cap slung low. And so we're going to end it.
Okay. I feel like we're all like, what character is that?
I'm mostly like, did the kid was it a ghost we met back in Palatown now?
The ghost
That's
of
my
Professor
character.
Oak.
Yes.
Yeah, I
We were in
was waiting for
alternate
this
reality.
kid to have a giant mustache and be bald already.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I guess we'll find out next time on Missing Numbers War Story.
Indeed.
War Story.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in this evening. It really does mean a lot to us when people watch our streams and donate to the causes that we are raising money for. Everything we do on this channel benefits a really great cause. We would not be able to make any of that happen without you. So thank you so much. We will be back, I believe, tomorrow, correct?
We will be back tomorrow.
Back
Two of us will
tomorrow.
be.
back tomorrow with more other different tiny monsters.
Better.
Yeah, you know.
Rest assured, this time there will probably be guns. It's
That is
Digimon.
true. If you've asked yourself, where are all the guns in this session? Tomorrow.
Tomorrow in Digimon, there will be guns.
It does have more guns, yes. I will give it that.
Yes. And then we indeed will be back to 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks now on Tuesday, for the thrilling conclusion of Missing Numbers War Stories. If you would like to see when we are going live, you can follow us on Twitter at Live from the APOC. Should be right up there on the screen next to the Cursed Bird app. Or you can join our Discord community, which is full of a lot of just really awesome folks, friendly people. Generally, just kind of a great place. Though, maybe I'm biased. We do community nights on there as well, where we play games together off stream, or also watch bad movies. It's kind of a nice group of people, in my opinion.
Ooh, do we know what our next community night movie is?
Great question. Forthcoming.
Yes, it is on the first
probably
Monday
be
of the
holiday themed.
Indeed.
True,
So if you
probably,
would like to know what next bad movie double feature we'll be doing for a community night, you got to get on that Discord, baby.
Yeah, I guess you'll have to join the Discord.
Yeah. If you would like to get to know us better, we would genuinely love to hear from you. I think at long last that is enough talking from me. So thank you all so much again. We're going to be disappearing in just a second, but don't go away, because we're going to be rating one of the many other great TTRPG creators here on Twitch. So please be friendly, say hi, tell them that LFGA sent you.
We sure are. We're going to go hop over and say hi to our friends at Manapot Studios. They are streaming Masks, but I believe they are streaming Masks and they're playing X-Men. So we'll hop over there. We'll say hi, be friendly. There are 2 raid messages in the chat. If you're subscribed, feel free to copy paste the first one that has being hype. If you're not subscribed, feel free to grab the one with little raccoons. Nothing wrong with that. And we are going to disappear now, like we said we would. But don't go away. We'll hop over there. We'll say hi to Manapot Studios, and you can catch us tomorrow night. We'll see you there. Hopefully, I think that's about it from us here. Have a good night.